What is Fude Experience?
So Fude is a naked dining experience where we host naked dining experiences.
Where we are all naked.
We're all naked.
It wasn't like a striptease or anything. Like you come in, just take your clothes off. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Luvbites by Dr. Tara podcast. Here with me today is a very exciting person because I went to an experience that she organized before, and I have been just really dying to share with you guys about the experience and also learn more about her and how she came to offer naked dinners. So this is Charlie. And Charlie and the Fude Experience, the naked dinner, has been featured in Vogue magazine, New York Times, LA Times. I mean, she's been everywhere in the media because people are obsessed. They're like, what are you doing? What is this, experience? Do people just get naked and have dinner? Like, what is going on? So I am so excited that you're here today.
I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think people listening and watching are like, whoa, I am now tuned in. What do you mean naked dinner? What do you mean, Dr. Tara, you went? So let's start with, it's called the Fude Experience, right?
Yes, yeah.
Let's start with what inspired you to start Fude Experience?
My journey towards self-acceptance was not an easy path. I grew up as a dancer. I had a lot of body issues in the ballet world, and nudity after I stopped dancing was something that helped me towards my path to self-discovery and connection. And at the time, I didn't know why that was, but it just felt good. So I kept putting myself in experiences practicing nudity because it felt right. I felt celebrated for just my physical body, which is something that I didn't feel for myself for a long time. And then I found that nudity really represents a lot more than the act of being naked. To me, it represents surrender, letting go. We're peeling back our layers to our most vulnerable state. And when we spend time in our vulnerability, in our raw form, there's a lot of power there. And that just expands into your everyday life.
That I love that because there's so much power within nudity. And that is why people experience such strong feelings towards nudity, right? Going back to Janet Jackson and the nip slip, right? And people were outraged. It was on national television, but it's just a nipple.
Yeah.
Right? Like people have very strong visceral feelings about naked bodies, and whether it's anger or shame about others or themselves, or celebration, or like so much love and excitement, there's always a strong feeling related to nudity.
Well, I think that's because the naked body has been so sexualized.
Right.
So part of what I'm doing through the experiences is focusing on desexualizing the human body. And while we are sexual beings, we are so much more than that. And I think there's just a lot of importance and power being able to connect to our raw selves, and also especially for women to connect to our bodies naked and not feel sexualized.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk about what it is. If you can, I know what it is because I attended one, and I'm going to share my experience in a little bit, but let's hear from Charlie, what is Fude Experience?
So Fude is a naked dining experience centered on vulnerability, expansion, and connection, where we host naked dining experiences. I'm repetitive.
Where we are all naked.
We're all naked. I require nudity. We can go deeper into the format. I won't I could talk about this forever. But we're dining over a meal. There's a theme, just like Valentine's Day is coming up. So the theme could be self-love and the healing properties of rose, which we've done that a few times. And we're talking about the healing properties of rose. So I'll bring in an herbalist like my friend Sasha to talk more about rose and why that's important. There's a mindfulness practice towards the Fude Experience when you come in. And then we dine, discuss the theme. And then by the end, I think people are feeling the start. Sometimes people might feel scared, but by the end, usually my goal is to help people feel more comfortable in themselves and comfortable around people being naked. And usually you forget that you're naked once everyone is naked.
Yeah, that is totally the experience I had. I mean, I I don't have a lot of fear regarding my naked body or being naked around people, just because I was already going to like sex parties and places where people were naked. But I was a little bit nervous before I attended, because it seems small. Like, it seems like you're just going to be talking to, 10, 20 people who's naked and in a small space, versus like a sex party is usually at a mansion or like multiple stories townhouse, or, like you don't have to be so close to people if you don't want to, which is so funny because people think sex parties are like orgies when it's really not. Like, it's just an erotic experience. So I was like, ooh, we're going to eat next to people and we're all going to be naked. And like, lots of funny thoughts came to my mind. I'm like, what about pubic hair? Like, what about,
all the things.
What if someone smells like poop? Like, you just never know. What if someone like sweats a lot? Or I just don't know, because it's so intimate. I was a tiny bit nervous.
Yeah.
And that's normal, right? Would you say most people would have said that?
Most people are nervous. It depends on your comfort level with nudity, but that's interesting that even sex parties, like, not so much, but this experience is
more intimate.
Yeah, totally. I think that's because it's just going into an erotic space or a sexual space. It's kind of, and everyone, it's not required. So you're not like with everyone where they're naked. This one is, but I found that the people that are the most scared are the most transformed by the experience, because you're stepping into this like fear and facing fear head on. And it's not that scary. And it's not that like pent up, built up, scary thing that people think it is. It's so natural. And
it's so natural.
Yeah.
I like that word. It's like the state of nature, right? Like, we were born naked, and back in the days we were all naked, like before the invention of clothes.
Right.
There should be like some sort of instinct in our genetics or DNA to feel okay with not having clothes on. Yeah. But yet, the world is socially constructed, and we come to learn that the naked body is taboo and like unacceptable in public or in front of other people. So yeah, I'm trying to recall my experience. So I went, and it was a New Year's party. We started with like kind of talking to each other. So when you first come in, you immediately take your clothes off and put it on a hanger. And like, it's just so funny. Like, it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like a strip tease or anything. Like, you come in, just take your clothes off.
I want to get to it. I thought about that a little bit, where like, is there a conscious undressing? But I think the experience is enough that let's just get it off, and then we'll address
Cut right to the chase.
Yeah.
I actually loved it. I was like, oh, okay, we're straightforward. We checked in, we got into the room, checked in, and then everyone just takes their clothes off and put it on like a rack. And so I went with my husband and one of my best friends and her husband. So
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, the really tall girl and tall guy next to me were one of my best friends and her husband. And so it was like the experience and the excitement or nervousness was twofold, because one is like me and my husband like attending like just our own experience, but also like we're now gonna see them naked. Like, I've seen her naked. We went to like Korean spas, but I've never seen him naked.
What was that like?
It was cool. It was normal. It was like you're still a friend. Yeah. We all have body parts, and it was cool. And honestly, it was funny and kind of jittery for the first maybe 30 seconds after taking your clothes off. And then it's so normal.
Totally.
Is that every time? Like, do you feel like that kind of happens every time?
I feel like it does. And it's interesting. Most people come alone. So it's a rare experience. Sometimes people come with couples, but I will say like 80% of people come alone.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to hear your experience coming with friends or a couple, because I don't hear that often, and what your experience is like. Yeah,
because it was like, now I see his penis, like my best friend's husband's penis, and then he also sees my husband's penis. Right. So it's like, it made us feel like closer real quick.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's just not something that you would normally see. And then we did like, we all like talked, right? We meet other people as well. And then you had us do this like kind of dancing.
Yeah. We
like
did a
interpretive
movement.
dancing movement, which was really fun. I think you said mirror.
Yeah, we
So
did a
you
mirror
partner
exercise.
with someone.
Right. Yeah, I do the movement. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But I think because people are scared, I think it's important to just shake your body around and get
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
Just so you can get out of your head, because that's my goal when people first come in. I know people are nervous, and I'm trying to get people to feel comfortable as quick as possible. And it happens naturally, but I think with movement, and then we'll go into breath work or some kind of mindfulness practice after that, it really helps you just calm the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, it really helped. And it was fun. It was like
Yeah.
a good rapport building with like these new people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had us do breath work, which to me, even just that moment, because it was pretty long, it was like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
felt pretty transformative because it was an intense breathwork session.
Yeah.
Then we ate
Yes.
amazing, yummy food because,
Yeah.
I mean, you're a chef.
I'm a chef.
Yeah, you're a chef, and you love being a chef and you love nudity. So
Yeah.
you just combine them.
Totally.
So food, FUDE, is nude and food.
Right.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
We ate yummy food by Charlie and her team. And then we did vision board.
Yeah. Yeah. That was for the new year.
Yeah.
That was a really fun exercise.
I know. I've done so many vision boards in my life, just never done them naked.
Wow. Did you take it home with you?
Yeah.
And did you, looking back now that we're in a new year, did you look back at your vision board yet?
Almost everything came true.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Must have been because I was naked.
Yeah. It was the extra
My
power.
nudity energy. And then when everyone was done, then there was like a moment where you like took photos, but you also asked people that want to be in photos to be in a certain area and people that don't to be in a certain area.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Just so people feel extra comfortable that no one has eyes or cameras on them when it is a vulnerable experience. And usually it's either me or like someone on my team taking photos. So we have access to that. And then we're always extra sure about getting consent from people prior to the experience, during the experience, and after if we post as well.
Yeah. Do you ban phones during these naked dinners?
I don't. I've thought about it, but usually we'll give in our intro, we'll talk about how you can't take photos of anybody else, only have photos of the table and yourself. And if you do take photos with a friend or someone you just met, just make sure they consent to the photo.
Yeah.
Because I still want people to share the experience.
Right. Yeah.
And be able to have that moment for them to take away as well. But that's also like, I'll take photos, but sometimes I'm wearing many hats and I'm working on expanding. But
you're hosting, you're cooking, you're serving, you're leading activities.
Yeah, it's definitely, we have a range of different things, and it depends on the theme and the time and how many people are coming. But if it's less people coming, then I'll usually manage more. And if more people are coming, then we'll have a bigger team.
What's the smallest one you've had and the biggest one you've had?
The smallest one I have had was probably the New Year's, which was about 12 people.
12, yeah.
And the largest one I've had was 45 people.
Whoa.
And that was because it was the absolute maximum I could hold in the space.
Yeah.
And after that, I started realizing when I first started food, the first food I had was actually the very first one was 5 people, and it was just my friends.
Nice.
And then the second one was 13, and that was still friends. The next one was like 22 people, and that was friends and some friends of friends. And then the next one was 30. The next one after that was 45. And like people were calling me being like, hey, can you get me in tonight? And like, I was like, no, I can't take any more. But I realized that the sweet spot is 25. That's like 20 to 25 is my favorite because the quality of the food and the quality of the experience is the best.
Yeah.
I think when there's too many people, it's a little overwhelming, and just the food quality naturally is not going to be as good as it could be when it's a smaller group.
Yeah. Is it always co-ed? So the one I went was co-ed, men and women. Is it usually co-ed?
No. So we do a variety of different experiences, some with just women, some with co-ed, some like everyone except for straight men.
Yeah.
It depends on the facilitator and what their preference is. It also depends on how I'm feeling,
Yeah.
how my team's feeling,
Yeah.
what we want to include. But they're all amazing and they're very different. The women's opposed to everyone is they're different experiences.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta try the all women one.
Yeah, it's really special and sweet and like so loving. It feels like a slumber party and you get so close to everyone. The ones with men bring a little bit more of an intensity to the experience.
Yeah. It's still fun.
Yeah. It's amazing. And I think it's really important for women to be in a space with other people where they're not feeling sexualized. And this is a great practice for
and feel
that.
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like even with all the men there, I still felt safe. There was a man there that was there by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit older. And I think he's from the Midwest. But it was not weird to have other men. And then my friend's husband and then my husband. It was fun.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest misconception people have about food?
There's a few things. That's a good question.
Yeah, share with us. Like, what are some of the things that people are saying and you're like, that's absolutely false?
People don't know what goes on. People think it's a sexual experience. Like, how can you not? It's funny to get in conversations with people about this, especially
like when they ask, what do you do?
Especially men. Yeah.
Oh, really? Why?
Because men
what
are
do they
like,
assume?
They assume they're like, oh, I couldn't like, and it's even sometimes conscious, like people that I'd never think. Sometimes men can be like, think they're going to get hard and how could they not? And I think because socially it would be not acceptable for the most part. It rarely happens.
Right.
I've never seen it happen. And I've hosted so many experiences. Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean,
feel like it would be normal if there was an erection or not an erection. Like either way, it's normal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it like passes.
Yeah.
Because that could come from nerves. It can come from a lot of different things. I've never seen anything. I also am doing a lot of things and I'm not really looking. And
no one's staring at people's penises.
Yeah.
Like no one's staring. I mean, I glanced a couple of times to my friend's husband.
Totally. Yeah.
Just like checking out like what are you packing? But no one is staring at anyone.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like I didn't
like,
feel like anyone was staring at me, my boobs, my vulva. Like no one was staring at anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people, I just think common sense, you're looking at people's eyes.
Right.
You might like drift for a second. I think that's normal, especially when you've never been in a space like this.
Yeah.
And you could be curious about things, but mostly people are pretty respectful.
Yeah.
And also it's like you don't want to be the odd one out at a naked dinner. You know? Like I'd have to go ask you to leave because you're like that sucks. No one wants to be put on the spot. You're already being put on the spot enough.
Yeah. One misconception that a lot of people have regarding men's health is that if their load is small, that they cannot have a bigger load. And this is why I love talking about POPSTAR. POPSTAR Volume Plus Taste Enhancer is literally the best supplement in the market at helping you feel more confident and comfortable with your load. So when we talk about load, we're talking about semen load. So like cum, right? The ejaculate. And for some people that just want their load to be bigger for various reasons, right? For confidence, for fertility, for wanting to feel like you're healthy. There's various reasons why people would take supplements, natural supplements that will help them have a bigger load. POPSTAR was created by 2 board certified urologists. And they're awesome people. It's a very transparent company. If you want to go to their website, link is in the episode description. You can look at all the material, all the ingredients that are in there. You can look at the backgrounds of these doctors. You can also look at their research. Yeah, I think it's such a good brand. Have you ever thought about load size before?
No, and I didn't even know that's a thing, but I don't have a penis.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about that.
Do you date men, women, or both?
Both.
Both? Yeah. But you've never thought about load size?
No, No, I haven't. So this is it's honestly amazing that you're speaking about taboo
Yeah.
subjects.
Yeah. I think it really hurts men's confidence when when they come and it's like a tiny load.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
I would have
right?
never thought about that, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. So this is body safe. Again, it's created by two doctors and it's been tested. So definitely check it out with the link in the episode description. POPSTAR is one of my favorite companies and they also came out with two different lubes. Again, created by the two doctors. One of them is a silicone based lube. So the lubes are called Play. And this is silicone base, which stays slippery longer.
Cool.
And then this is the water base. It's the blue one. It's also called Play. The water based one is for people that are like more like sensitive, people that are very, very sensitive that don't want to use silicone. But I would say in my experience, silicone always stays slippery longer. So it just depends on your preference and priorities. But yeah, definitely check it out in the link in the episode description. Okay, so with food, if there was one thing that you can do differently, what would you do differently?
I'm actually going through this right now. I really ironed out the perfect format for the dining experiences, and I'm starting to look beyond that. So now I want to do little tours with just one specific experience and tour that around in different cities and then treat it like an album rather than having the same thing over and over and over for people to come to. I'll throw in a dinner dining experience proper once in a while, but I'm going to start doing more, even more experiential events.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit of what that experience is about?
Yeah. So lately I've been really tapping into my rage, a feeling that I think we don't always tap into or we hide or feel shame about having rage. So I want to create, or I'm working on creating a safe experience where women at first, and I'll expand it to other people, we're naked and we're releasing our rage. And so what I'm working on is filling paint with balloons, or sorry, balloons with paint.
Yeah.
And we'll throw darts at the paint while a facilitator is guiding us to all get really angry and like, ah!
Wow.
And then
I
we'll
want to go
after.
to this party.
Yeah, right?
I feel like I have this small like anger inside me that I'm always suppressing. So that would be a great place for me to let go and be angry.
Yeah, totally. I feel that too. And lately I've been just letting, in healthy ways, letting myself like fully feel that. And I think when we can really, I guess, embrace all of our emotions in safe containers, then we're just more whole and we're better to ourselves and better to the other people around us.
Love it.
Yeah.
What kind of people are drawn to the food experience, like the naked dinners?
All different kinds of people. I would say a majority of people are coming because they have some kind of body issues. That's my connection to nudity. So I think that attracts that kind of person. There are people who are maybe older who want to, their kids have left and they want to have a new experience in their life, shake something up. There's also people who are interested in the themes and in the food aspect. There's the interest of people coming to see what naked dining is like. But we have an application process, and I'm very strict on that. And I want to make sure that your intentions are pure for coming, so that way it keeps we keep it a safe space.
Yes.
So most people, I would say, it's for overcoming body issues or just curiosity about connecting deeper to themselves.
Yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that everyone that was there are very mindful people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that application process, do you personally look at every application?
Yeah, usually.
And you curate the people?
I don't curate the people for the experiences. That is just, we have an email list. And if you are a part of the accepted community, then you can come to any experience that you want as long as it's not sold out.
So you have to first apply to be a part of the community.
Yes.
And then you can say like, I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go to this one freely.
Yeah, totally.
Love that.
First come, first serve.
Yes. With, consent and boundaries conversation, because like I didn't feel like there was any moment that needed like verbal consent from another person, apart from, I guess, taking pictures, but no one was even taking pictures apart from the team, which you already verbalized consent. Have there been any times that you had to like again communicate about consent and boundaries?
Mostly not really.
Right?
Yeah,
I feel like it's just very like mindful people that don't do things that are unacceptable.
Well, I think also you know what you're getting into, or you don't, but you could be scared, I had no idea. But for the majority, I think it's already a vulnerable space, and most people are just focused on themselves. And while people might be mindful, I think in that space, in that context, it's easy to see that. But I think everyone can be mindful. And I think in this kind of space, we set it up in this way. And I think because I've hosted tons of experiences through trial and error, I've found really what works and what really does create a safe space. And it's leading up to it. And in person, everyone's been respectful for the most part.
Love that.
Yeah.
What would be your advice for someone who's interested in attending but nervous?
Go for it.
How should they prep for this experience?
You could start by walking naked around your home, eating naked, alone, or with friends if you want. But I've always found that it's better to practice this alone, sometimes especially if you're nervous, and then just do it. I think there's no better way than going after an experience that you're afraid of than literally just doing it.
Love it.
Yeah.
It is like one of those things that you just have to kind of do it to know. Like riding a roller coaster. Like, how do you prep for something like that? Right. Like, take deep breaths.
Yeah, right.
And just go on it. And then you'll know if you like it or hate it.
Right.
Okay, so for the last portion of this discussion, I figured it would be fun for you to give tips for people that are interested in hosting naked dinners at their house.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just even like a small party.
Yeah.
So let's give them some tips. So like an at-home food experience at home naked dinner. How can people start?
So we're actually working on a book right now for this.
Love this.
10 different themes for a naked dining experience.
Wow.
But the first thing, you want to focus on creating a sensory experience and incorporating all of the senses. I think when you're hosting any event.
Tell us more. Senses.
So you want to focus on the aroma. Have some nice candles or something burning, like sage or incense, or something to have a great smell. Or food could be the aroma too. Taste, having some good food. All of food is plant-based. That's not necessary for your own experience. It's a preference.
But should it be food that's not like causing you to fart?
Probably, maybe.
Like no hummus.
But it takes time for your body to digest. So maybe you wouldn't in the experience, but after,
you fart when you get home.
You want to focus on the visual aspect. I've always found that keeping experiences, the simpler, the better. Because I really want the bodies to shine. And because you aren't often in this kind of space looking at tons of naked people, we all have our own insecurities about our body. And seeing a very diverse group of people is really powerful. And you realize like, oh, I'm not
supermodel and it's okay.
And it's okay. Or like this part that I have on my body that I'm super uncomfortable with, there's another person who has the same thing and is so confident. I think it's a really fun thing to do. But visual, simple, highlight the bodies, highlight the food. Also with the food, when you're choosing food, I always find keep it flavorful and simple as well.
What about music?
Music is very important.
Yeah, how do you choose music for naked dinner experience?
Yeah, so I work with one of my best friends, Quentin Mulvey. He creates playlists and we work on these playlists together, but it's very important. You don't want to have the music too loud, and I always go for things where it's instrumental and it progresses. So it'll start maybe if we're moving and dancing in the beginning, we'll have something upbeat. I always like disco, but then for the dining experience itself and the themed and the discussion, I have music that starts really slow and then it starts to progress a little faster towards the middle of the discussion of the dining experience. And then towards the end, it goes slow again and never words. So it's not distracting and it can highlight or create more effect when you're speaking and there's like this beautiful, I don't know, harp playing.
Yeah.
Create the experience.
Yeah. What if someone's like, I want to play like trap music at my naked dinner?
Not the space. Maybe you could.
Or like headbanger EDM.
Maybe in the beginning or end if you want to do something like that. But when people are talking, you want to hear
and the
people.
dining, right? You want it to be very like simple and pleasant.
Yeah. And you want to listen to people, you want to hear people, and you also want to give a comfortable space for people to speak.
Yeah. Like what would be your tip for people who's like, I want to host it, but like I don't know if my friends are comfortable. Like how do I tell them like, hey, I'm hosting a naked dinner, like come over? Like when you started, right? Like how did that conversation go?
You know, a lot of my friends have not attended because of this, and I just had to let go of that.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing about creating and expanding this to people who I don't know personally, because it can be hard. I find that while we are doing this together, it's still an individual experience. So maybe opening that up to people who are interested in exploring this, and also making sure you feel safe with the people. But if it's with friends, you can have a casual conversation and maybe challenge each other on these ideas of nudity itself and see what people say.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you say to the critics that are like, what's the difference between wearing clothes, wearing lingerie, or wearing nothing and eating dinner?
Yeah. Well, when you're naked, you're raw. And that is just the most raw form we can be in our bodies. My favorite quote, RuPaul, we're born naked and the rest is drag. So when you're stripped down and you're having an experience with other people, or talking with people naked, there's not all of the material items for you to gravitate towards. So your connection with people are going to automatically be a lot deeper than any kind of situation, because it's not like, oh, I like your necklace or earring, or maybe you might have jewelry on. I don't know.
But I love that. It's so true, right? Because when you meet people at like, let's just say somewhere that has the most like vain people, like a Hollywood party, you know, they look at your clothes, they look at your shoes, they look at what watch are you wearing, they look at, like there's so much on a person's body that can like maybe say something about them, versus when you're naked, you have to just be you.
Yeah, and you have to be
you
creative.
Interesting? Are you cool? Are you nice? Are you mindful? Like that's just who you are, and not what you're wearing, or what you or what you have on your body that stand for something, right? Like status or fame or wealth.
Who are you behind all of the stuff?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. It's such a lovely way to end this discussion. But I have one more question for you. If you were to attend a naked dinner that's not yours, right? So a different experience, a different organizer, what would you be looking for?
How safe I feel. And I think that is when you're hosting, it's important to look at every single aspect of the experience, and safety should always be the number one priority, and being intentional through every like sense or every moment.
What would we, like I said I was going to ask you a last question, but then I have another question that popped into my mind. Like, what, have you heard of these other naked dinner experiences?
I know some people are doing some. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
It's not like on
Yeah.
New York Times.
I saw some Reddit threads, and I think if you are to host your own experience, make it creative and make it for you. I've come up with a format for myself that works, but these are so deeply connected to all of the things that I've gone through and I've experienced. So when I'm creating this experience, it's with these things in mind. And there's been things where people I've worked with have copied like copy and repeat, paste, which is okay because I believe in the experience, but make it more personal to you. Whatever you're going through or the challenges you faced, find a creative way to explore that in this kind of space.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me at the Fude Experience on Instagram, or at Charlie Ann Max on Instagram, thefudeexperience.com. You can subscribe to our email list. And what else?
And join the Naked Dinner experience.
Join the Naked Dinner. Yep, apply to attend.
Another question just popped into my head. Like, what if someone applies and gets denied? Like, does that happen?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. But do they ever complain or like, why am I rejected?
Yeah, sometimes, and it's apparent reasons. And sometimes people will just, the same people who are getting rejected are emailing over and over and over again. And I get it. You're enthusiastic about the experience, but we're really looking for people that will actually have pure intentions and want to benefit from their experience through their own self-discovery.
Not there to stare at boobs.
Totally. Exactly. Yeah. There's a difference in the application with all the questions we have. We can kind of weed that out easily.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you so much for hanging out with us with your clothes on.
Yes. Thank you.
Next time I'll go to your party without my clothes.
Please.
And my loves, thank you so much for watching and listening till the end of the episode. I love you guys. I really appreciate you. Please take your time to like, subscribe, comment, and share this episode so that more people are hearing about naked dinners and mindful nudity and whatnot. Other than that, I wish you an orgasmic day. Bye.
Thanks for listening. This was Love Bites.
Love Bites.
By Dr. Tara. Follow Dr. Tara on social media at lovebites.co. Have an orgasmic day.